You feel it before you know it. A slow, deliberate trace along the curve of your spine. A whisper of touch that isn't just on the skin. It's inside you. Like someone pressed a key you didn't know existed. And somewhere in the dark, a locked room stirs awake. What if I told you that room isn't in your mind at all? That the memory you're feeling right now, the one you can't quite name, isn't floating in thought, but living deep in the rivers of your body, wrapped around a golden thread called the vagus nerve. This thread begins behind your ear, winds down like a quiet serpent, weaving through your heart, your lungs, your gut, and brushing against the silent pillar of your spine. It's been there since the moment you first opened your eyes, before language, before names, before you even knew who you were. Ancient healers knew this thread. They called it by many names: a serpent of light, a bridge to the gods, the hidden current where memory and spirit meet. They believed that touching certain points along your body wasn't just medicine, it was an act of remembrance. Because the truth is, your body is not just muscle and bone, it is an archive. Every joy, every wound, every unspoken word you've ever carried is pressed into its fibers, folded into the stillness between each heartbeat. Some of those moments you've forgotten, but they have not forgotten you. Have you ever wondered why a certain song makes your chest ache for no reason? Why a scent can drop you into a place you've never stood, or a touch can make your eyes sting with tears you can't explain? This is not madness. This is memory. Not of the mind, but of the spine. And along that spine lies a point, a single, sacred place, where the body's deepest memory and the vagus nerve's hidden current touch for a fraction of a second. Find it, and you don't just remember your own life, you remember what your ancestors left behind. Somewhere inside you, a pulse is answering this, a stirring you can't name. It's the same stirring that has guided seekers, mystics, and wanderers for thousands of years. They walked deserts, crossed oceans, just to feel what you are about to feel. This is not just a video, this is a doorway. And if you are still here, perhaps it is because a part of you remembers where it leads. If something ancient in you is waking up, if you can feel the thread begin to hum beneath your skin, follow it before it fades. Welcome to the Spine Gospel. The doorway opens, not into a room, but into a current, a stream you have been standing in since the day you were born without ever realizing the water was there. It runs through you quietly, a thread of light that begins at the base of your skull, winds down like a patient river, and disappears into the shadowed roots of your body. It does not speak in words, it speaks in tides. The rush of your heartbeat, the rise and fall of your breath, the stillness that softens your chest when the world feels safe. This is the thread the ancients knew, the one they guarded in symbols and rituals, hiding it in plain sight, so only the attentive would see. In Egypt, it was the Djed pillar, a carved column that stood for stability, memory, and the spine of the god Osiris. In its grooves, they encoded the idea that the backbone holds the power to resurrect what has been lost. In Taoist scrolls, it was the path of Qi, life force spiraling along the back like a dragon of breath. They mapped its ascent in silence, teaching that the higher it climbed, the more the heart and mind would remember their original harmony. In Hermetic whispers, it was called the Axis Mundi, the bridge between above and below, heaven and earth, outer world and inner world. They taught that the human spine was not just bone, but a ladder for the soul's messages to climb. The golden thread, what we now call the vagus nerve, was never theirs to invent. It was already there, woven into the human design, a living bridge between the mind's fragile thoughts and the body's deep, unshakable knowing. Even now, it runs from the quiet chamber of your brainstem, down past the thrones of your heart and lungs, touching the tides of your gut, before vanishing into places you cannot name. It listens to everything: How your breath falters when fear comes, how your muscles soften when you hear a voice you trust. It remembers what you don't and keeps what you cannot bear to carry. The ancients believed you could read a person's life through their spine, that by touching certain points along it, you could awaken old dreams, loosen the knots of grief, or even return lost parts of the soul. To them, the body was not a container. It was a scroll, and the vagus nerve was the ink that wrote its story. And yet, here we are, walking around with this thread inside us, rarely aware of its presence, rarely listening to its whispers. It has been guiding you, calming you, warning you in moments your mind thought were random. It has been keeping the oldest memories of your life safe, waiting for the day you might want them back. But something happened. Something covered this truth, blinded our senses to it, and replaced it with noise. The golden thread didn't vanish. We just stopped feeling it. There is a fog we walk through every day, thick, invisible, and heavy. You don't notice it at first. You still wake up, still drink your coffee, still check your phone. But somewhere between your first thought in the morning and your last breath before sleep, something sacred slips away. There was a time you could feel the earth breathe with you. Your chest would rise and fall in rhythm with the wind in the trees. You didn't just hear the rain, you felt it speaking to the pulse in your neck. Now all you hear is stat. Cha. The truth is, we have been lulled into a trance. Not the kind that puts you to sleep, the kind that keeps you busy, endlessly busy, while the golden thread between your body and the universe grows thinner. We live surrounded by noise, not just the kind that comes from car horns or television, but the constant hum of alerts, news headlines, artificial light and shallow conversations. We are drowning in the sound of other people's thoughts. Our senses are still working, but we do not feel. We scroll, we consume, we reply, but the body's quiet messages are lost. The slow tug of the vagus nerve, the gentle nudge telling you to breathe deeper, to soften your shoulders, to come home to yourself, is drowned beneath an endless feed of distractions. Once, there were no clocks, only the sun's warmth on your skin telling you the time. Evening came with the sound of crickets, and sleep arrived with the dark, not with a glowing screen pressed against your face. The ancients lived in a slower rhythm, not because they had less to do, but because they understood the cost of rushing. Their rituals, lighting a fire, grinding herbs, offering prayer, were ways of tuning themselves to the vagus nerve's whisper. It was their compass. It was how they knew they were alive. Today, we have replaced this compass with GPS, and though it takes us anywhere, it never brings us home. The body was designed to shift between two states, the alertness of survival and the calm of repair. But in the modern world, survival mode has become permanent. The vagus nerve, once the bridge to deep calm, is stuck on low power, trapped beneath layers of tension and shallow breath. You may not feel like you're in danger, but your body does. Your shoulders are tight, your jaw clenched, your breath barely touching the bottom of your lungs. Your heart waits for a threat that never comes. When you live in fire long enough, water becomes a stranger. We have been taught that safety means control. Locking doors, planning schedules, keeping the world predictable. But this is not the same as peace. Peace is not the absence of threat. It is the presence of trust. Control may calm the mind for a moment, but it leaves the body tense, the vagus nerve unsoothed, and the golden thread still frayed. We think we are awake because we have information. We read articles, watch videos, even learn about mindfulness. But awareness is not knowing. It is feeling, and this we have forgotten. The golden thread has not disappeared. It is here, wrapped in layers of noise, numbness, and forgetting. And if you listen carefully, not with your ears, but with something deeper, you can feel the faint pull. This is where the illusion cracks, and through that crack, light enters. In the next breath, we will step into the realm where ancient wisdom meets modern science, where the mystical and the measurable speak the same language, where your body's deepest truths are not lost, only waiting. They say the body is a map, but only a few ever learn to read it. And along this map, running like a silver thread through shadow and light, lies a living cord, your spine, carrying not just impulses, but stories older than your name. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine you could follow this silver thread upward and downward, from the base where your tailbone anchors you to the earth, to the crown where your skull greets the heavens. Along this sacred column runs the vagus nerve, not as a simple wire, but as a living bridge between your body's deepest instincts and your soul's highest whispers. Science tells us the vagus nerve is part of the parasympathetic system, the branch that slows the heartbeat, deepens the breath, and tells the body, you are safe. But the ancients saw it differently. In India, it was the Sushumna Adi, a subtle channel where life force, prana, rises like a serpent. In ancient Egypt, the priests of Heliopolis spoke of a divine cord linking the Ka, the life spirit, to the Ba, the soul. And in certain Gnostic sects, there was the ladder of light, a shining path climbing through the spinal centers, each rung a gate to higher knowing. Modern anatomy diagrams may give it Latin names, but they cannot capture its poetry, the way it hums like a harp string when touched, the way a single breath can send a ripple through its length, awakening something buried yet familiar. When you touch the point along your spine, that place where nerve and memory intertwine, you are not merely pressing flesh. You are knocking on the door of the oldest library you've ever known. Stored in these fibers are your reflexes, yes, but also the muscle memories of joy, grief, longing, and love. Your nervous system remembers every embrace you've held, every silence you've endured, every moment you surrendered to beauty. Western medicine will speak of afferent and efferent signals, messages traveling up and down, but imagine them not as electricity, but as pilgrims carrying offerings between the temple of the mind and the temple of the heart. The vagus nerve does not simply function, it mediates between two worlds, the tangible and the invisible. Touching this point is like dipping your hands into a hidden river. The current is gentle, but it runs deep. Breathe into it, and you may feel a sudden warmth in your chest, a loosening in your jaw, a heaviness melting from your shoulders. These are not coincidences. They are your body's way of saying, I remember this path. I have been here before. In ancient healing rites, initiates were taught to awaken this current before prayer, music, or vision quests. The Greeks had their iatromantes, healer seers, who would hum low tones into the back of the neck, sending a vibration down the spine like a chime in a hollow corridor. The sound would settle in the gut, coaxing the body into a deep state of listening. Because here is the truth. The vagus nerve is not only about relaxation, it is about receptivity. You cannot hear the quiet voice within unless the noise of survival subsides. And when that inner voice is heard, something remarkable happens. Your sense of separation begins to dissolve. You feel the web of connection between yourself, the breath, the earth, and the countless lives that have breathed before you. Think of your spine not as a column of bone, but as the axis of a wheel turning slowly through seasons of your life. The vagus nerve is the spoke that keeps the turning steady, aligning your inner world with the outer. And in the stillness between each turn, there is space, a silence so vast it feels like a doorway. Some describe this awakening as a tingling behind the heart. Others feel it as a deep calm, as if the body itself exhales after years of holding its breath. Whatever form it takes for you, know this: you are not creating something new. You are returning to what has always been there. So when your fingers find that point along your spine, linger there. Feel the texture of your skin, the quiet throb beneath. Let your breath be the bridge. With each inhale, gather the scattered pieces of yourself. With each exhale, release the weight of all you are not. This is not magic in the sense of tricks. It is magic in the truest sense, the art of remembering. And when the memory stirs, you may notice the world itself responding. The wind feels warmer. The sound of your own breath becomes music. And the silence? It no longer feels empty. It feels alive. They say science measures, but spirit feels. And here, at this slender corridor running along your spine, both meet like lovers long separated. When you place your attention there, not just the eyes of the mind, but the ears of the soul, you begin to understand why the ancients treated the body not as a machine, but as a temple. Imagine your spine as a silver river. Each vertebra is a stepping stone, and deep beneath these stones run hidden currents of light. These currents are not energy in the modern, casual sense. They are living messengers, tiny lightning bolts that carry both your heartbeat and your heartbreak, your breath and your unspoken prayers. Modern science calls it the vagus nerve network, tracing its branches from the base of your skull to the depths of your belly. But the mystics, those keepers of wordless truths, saw it as the thread of God, the invisible rope tying the human soul to divine breath. Every gentle pulse along your spine is a reminder that you are not separate from the rhythm of creation. Close your eyes for a moment. Let your awareness slide down the back of your neck, vertebra by vertebra, like a candle flame moving slowly in the dark. Feel the subtle vibration there, the almost imperceptible hum that is always present, even in silence. That hum is not muscle or bone, it's memory. Memory of every joy you've felt, every sorrow you've carried, and every moment you've touched something beyond yourself. In the language of ancient healers, each point along the spine is a gate. When a gate is closed, you feel tension, illness, fatigue. When it opens, something miraculous happens. The breath deepens without effort, the heart beats more gently, the mind clears, and you feel as though someone invisible has lifted a weight from your back. And yet, here's the paradox. You cannot force these gates open. The more you push, the tighter they close. The vagus nerve responds not to control, but to surrender. This is the science no laboratory can measure. The moment you soften, the body remembers it is safe, and safety is the doorway to every kind of healing. This is why certain postures, slow breathing, and even simple touch along this spine can feel like a spiritual awakening. You're not adding something new, you're removing the static that's been blocking the music of your own being. You begin to notice something, a warmth that spreads from the base of your skull down to your lower back. A slow wave, as if the ocean inside you just sighed in relief. The mind, usually loud and restless, starts to lean back, letting silence take the front seat. And in that silence, you hear it, the pulse of the universe, matching your own. This is the spiritual science of the vagus. It's not just biology, not just mysticism, but a conversation between the two, a conversation where your body is the question and your spirit is the answer. Walk with me into the shadows of history. Scrolls, statues, and temple walls whisper secrets to those who listen. The human spine appears again and again, intertwined with serpents, rivers, and light, not as decoration, not as myth, but as a map, a blueprint of something far greater than mere flesh. Why did ancient cultures across the globe draw the human body as a reflection of the heavens? Why did they align stone, wood, and shadow to mirror the curves and corridors of the spine? Because they knew the same truth that is hidden in you now. Your body is a temple, your spine is a ladder, and within its folds the golden thread hums, waiting to be awakened. In Egypt, the Djed pillar stood as a symbol of stability, of memory, and of the axis of life. It was no coincidence that it mirrors the human spine. Priests inscribed it on tomb walls, believing that walking alongside it, meditating upon it, could awaken the soul's dormant currents. Thousands of miles east, in India, the Kundalini serpent coils along the spinal column. Rising from the base chakra, it spirals through the subtle centers of energy, unlocking perception, intuition, and memory long forgotten. Each twist is a step along a sacred ladder, each breath a key to the hidden river running through the body. In China, practitioners of Qigong and Taoist alchemy mapped the meridians, invisible channels that trace the movement of life force along the spine. Every point corresponds to breath, nerve, and intention, forming an intricate web of energy that connects body, mind, and cosmos. Even in Mesoamerica, the feathered serpent gods, Quetzalcoatl, Kukulkan, twist and coil upward, bridging earth and sky, human and divine. They are mirrors of the same design, the spine as a conduit for life's hidden memory. Across continents and millennia, these cultures converged on one truth. The human body carries a cosmic map, a blueprint written in flesh, bone, and spirit. Walk into an ancient temple. Notice the vertical corridors, a spine of stone and shadow. Each chamber aligns with the steps of the human energy system. Pillars are vertebrae, central halls are energy centers, beams of sunlight strike just like the pulse of a nerve. The temple itself is a living metaphor. As you move through it, you move along the spine of the world. As your footsteps echo in the sacred halls, they awaken the same currents within your body. Each chant, each drumbeat, each ritual motion resonates along the golden thread, gently tuning the nervous system, whispering the song of balance and remembrance. Ancient rituals were precise, not random. Every sound, every vibration, every movement was designed to awaken the vagus nerve, to let the body remember what the mind had forgotten. Drums rumbled like heartbeats, flutes mimicked the breath, and sacred syllables sang along the spine. Monks, shamans, and priests did not know nerve pathways or parasympathetic function. Yet they felt it. They knew that aligning body, sound, and breath was a form of spiritual science, a way to awaken memory and life itself. It was prayer and precision in one, science without words, devotion without explanation, a wisdom coded in form, sound, and presence. Now, imagine yourself standing in such a temple. Candlelight flickers across ancient stone. The floor hums faintly beneath your feet. A beam of sunlight pierces the chamber, striking your spine exactly where it needs to. You breathe. The golden thread hums. You feel your own memory stirring, your own pulse syncing with the rhythm of the world. This is where we begin to reconnect, not through study, but through presence, not through searching, but through remembering. And it is from this place, the heart of the ancient blueprint, that we step into Section 6, reconnecting to the source, where the body, breath, and spirit converge into a path back to what has always been waiting inside you. Close your eyes. Feel the air brushing softly against your skin, the subtle weight of your body resting against the earth. A beam of light touches the curve of your spine, a gentle caress that hums like a quiet memory. Here, in this sanctuary of your own being, the golden thread awaits. The vagus nerve, the river of hidden memory running silently along your spine. You have walked through shadows, through noise, through illusions. Now it is time to return, not by thinking, not by striving, but by being. The body knows the way if you let it speak. Inhale slowly. Let the air fill your chest, descend to your abdomen, and ripple down the spine. Exhale and feel the tension melt, the ancient memory stirring beneath your skin. Each breath is a bridge, connecting your mind to your body to your spirit, and your spirit to the invisible currents that have always run through you. With every inhalation, gather the scattered fragments of yourself. With every exhale, release what no longer serves. Notice the subtle warmth in your chest, the gentle hum at the base of your skull, the awakening pulse in your abdomen. This is not effort. This is remembrance. Now let your awareness travel along your spine. Feel the vertebrae like stepping stones, the spaces between them like quiet chambers of a temple. The vagus nerve runs along this path, whispering in vibrations you may not yet have named. Perhaps you feel tingling, warmth, or a subtle energy shifting. Perhaps memories long tucked away float briefly to the surface. You are listening to echoes carried across generations. The joy, the grief, the courage, the quiet resilience of those who came before you. Every pulse, every nerve, every breath is part of the same thread. The body does not forget what the mind may overlook. Notice the way your chest softens, your shoulders release, your jaw unclenches. Notice how stillness itself becomes a river of awareness, and in that stillness, the world outside loses its edge. Here, you are fully present, fully aligned, fully home. Now, imagine your body as a sacred temple. Each vertebra is a hall, each chamber a sanctuary for memory and energy. The vagus nerve is a golden thread running through these halls, a conductor for the music of your own being. Walk slowly through this temple in your mind. Feel each hall awaken as you breathe, each corridor begin to resonate with life. Energy moves like light, illuminating the spaces where memory and presence meet. You are both the observer and the inhabitant. You are the temple, and the temple is you. As you move, notice the quiet joy of being recognized by your own body. The subtle pulse, the whispering warmth, the river of energy, all reminding you, you were never lost. You were waiting. You have touched what was hidden. You have felt what was always alive. You have breathed with the river running silently along your spine. The golden thread hums beneath your awareness, a gentle reminder that you are never separate from yourself, from the earth, from the lineage of memory that carries you. And yet, there is more. More whispers to hear, more currents to follow, more silence to feel. You are at the threshold of remembering deeper truths. The thread is calling, and if you follow it, the doorway beyond opens. The journey you began along the spine does not end here. Even now, as your eyes may be open or your attention drifts, the golden thread hums beneath your awareness, a river older than memory itself. It has carried whispers from ancestors, vibrations from forgotten rituals, and the quiet pulse of the cosmos. Every heartbeat, every breath, every subtle stir in your body is proof that what you touched was never truly lost. Your body remembers what the mind often forgets. The nerve pathways, the subtle currents running along the spine, the vagus nerve itself, all are vessels for ancestral memory, for emotions long tucked away, for wisdom older than any text. Have you felt the echoes of those who walked before you? Have you noticed the silence that speaks louder than thought? What if the truths you seek, the answers you have chased across books, teachers, and screens, have been inside you all along? What if the quiet along your spine, the warmth that rose with each breath, was the universe itself greeting you, saying, I have been here, waiting for your remembrance. The golden thread never leaves you. Even when the world is loud, even when the mind wanders, it waits. It remembers. The energy you awakened along your spine is alive, ancient, patient. It knows the moments you have silenced yourself, the moments you have cried, the moments you have laughed. And it holds all of it gently, faithfully, as if to whisper, you are never alone, never lost, never forgotten. If this thread has stirred something ancient within you, if a memory has woken that felt familiar, though you cannot name it, continue this path with the spine gospel, not for curiosity, not for distraction, but to honor the quiet intelligence that lives inside you, waiting to be remembered. The mind forgets, but the soul remembers. Follow the thread, listen to the hum along your spine, and let the journey continue. Because the golden river of memory, the silent pulse of life, and the sacred architecture of your own being have always been yours. If this thread has stirred something ancient within you, If a memory has woken that felt familiar, though you cannot name it, continue this path with the spine gospel. Not for curiosity, not for distraction, but to honor the quiet intelligence that lives inside you, waiting to be remembered. Here, on the Spine Gospel, we explore the hidden currents of your body, the silent rivers of memory, and the forgotten wisdom of the spine. The mind forgets, but the soul remembers. Follow the thread, listen to the hum along your spine, and let the journey continue. Because the golden river of memory, the silent pulse of life, and the sacred architecture of your own being have always been yours.